What do you do when a powerful client is being unreasonable? That's exactly the situation this next caller is dealing with, and I walk him through a few options to hopefully resolve the issue. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to hear me coach more live callers just like this one. Shaun Paul, welcome to the show. How can I help today?
Well, thank you for having me. Well, I'm a freelance filmmaker out here in Los Angeles, and it's very networky, and you have to really be a professional all the time and constantly. And recently, I was hired for a last-minute shoot the day before the shoot for a position that I normally do not fulfill. I actually haven't worked in this sound department for over 5 years. The shoot was just a 2-day simple shoot. I was hired to do one job, and when I got to the set, they expected me to do actual several jobs, and the one job that they hired me for wasn't sufficing. Basically, they hired me for like a low guy on the totem pole, the boom op, and they expected me to be like the sound guy and the sound recordist. And but I had asked the producer and the director, like, hey, you will have another sound guy. I'll have somebody to plug into. And they were like, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Day comes, we get there. This other person doesn't have anything. I have to drive an hour back home to go get my roommate, who is a sound guy's gear, and go facilitate that. They do not pay me for any gas or any travel, which I didn't ask. I was just like, yeah, but they all started getting upset at me like I did something wrong. Now, I mustered through the first day, and it was the first time I was working with these people. But these people have their own TV show, and the director and producer of this is actually a showrunner here on a lot of big shows in Hollywood. So he has a lot of power, and his opinion can sway my career in a big way. So after the job was done, about 2 months later, I get a message from them saying that they're not happy with the job that I did, the recording that I did. And the problem being was that it wasn't me or my recording. They had given me an SD card that was faulty, and it wasn't formatting from the moment. And I had expressed this concern from jump, and I said, hey, this isn't working. I mean, I think you should go out and buy another one, which they did. And then they bought the wrong one. And so we got stuck with using this one. So now they're telling me they're upset at the way that the sound came out, but it is a technical issue on their end. It's not anything I did wrong. I didn't hit any knobs wrong or do anything wrong. Even though I hadn't done the job in 5 years, I did it fairly well. But now he's implying that he wants his money back for the job, because he said that the audio didn't record it to this one, and the project on was from the past was on it. And he was like, it wasn't even the audio we recorded. And I said, well, there's the technical issue. It had to be your SD card, because I formatted that card. So the only audio on there should have been this current project. So I'm kind of at the way he's been talking to me, he talks to me in a very, like, he's almost scolding me and like belittling me and acting as if I've done something wrong or if I don't know what I'm doing. But in reality, this guy who hired me didn't understand the difference between a boom operator and a sound recordist. And so how do I go about, without hurting his ego, because he's very alpha boss, how do I go and navigate this without paying him back? I don't want to pay him back because I still did the time. I still did the job. And I'm sorry, but like, I'm like Evel Knievel. You don't attempt me if it's good. You pay me for the attempt, not for good or bad.
Yeah. So you get called into a job where the expectations are totally different from what they were laid out from you. So there's a total misalignment of expectations. Yes. You step up to the plate and actually take on the expectations that are suddenly jolted upon you, and you do your best with what you had. You actually had to like kind of go out of your way and go beyond what was even agreed to be paid to you to do it. And then you do it, and there was some issues, and you told them right off the bat, they didn't really listen, and now there's problems, and now they want you to be responsible for the problems.
Yes.
Let's pretend for a second that this person was not a big producer or something like that, and you didn't really care what he thought of you. What would you do in that case?
In that case, I would stop answering.
You would just stop answering, yeah.
I would just stop answering.
I think that would be reasonable. Now, because he's got some influence, what are you concerned about? If you made your case and you said, listen, here's the deal. These are the circumstances. I understand that you want your money back. It doesn't seem fair to me. I don't agree. I'm going to stop this conversation now, and let's just move forward in our different ways. And you just stopped answering after that. what would be your concern? Like, what could he actually really do?
Well, he could stop me from getting work with other people in his networking community, and he has a big networking community. So basically, if anyone comes to him that hasn't worked with me before, and they ask like, "Oh, you've worked with him. Should I hire him? What do you think?" He could easily just go, "Nope, nope, nope, nope," and he could stop me from getting a lot of work. And in the freelance world, losing one job can be crucial to your income. Let alone having multiple jobs blocked off from you. And I've gotten, because of working with him, he has gotten me several other jobs, and he's led me down paths, and he's opened doors for me that I couldn't have access to and get to myself, because we share a connection. We had the same teacher, acting teacher, even though we weren't in the school at the same time.
This would be a valuable relationship and a bad bridge to burn, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of the money that was paid you for the job, man, I know giving back money is just, I don't even understand why he would request that, but
he didn't request it. He's just implied it multiple times. And it's like, he wants me to offer it back almost.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you this. So is he a guy that you could talk to on the phone?
Nah, he's one of those guys. Like, it seems like he's very easy to talk to when it's like for his project, or when it's about work. He'll call you right up. But when it's something like this, he will only talk to me via text message, which is also frustrating, because it's like, I feel like I can't get my point across. And like, then the story changes. Like, at first he said about, "Oh, we bought you a new card." And I said, "Well, you just said that there was an old project on the card that I gave you. So how can there be an old project on a new card? Like, your story doesn't even add up now." Like,
if you start getting into arguments on text,
and that's what I don't want. I didn't want to do it. I was like, "Well, hey, look, you just said so. I don't understand which card it is then." But either way, it doesn't seem like it was a me issue. Okay. I literally use that gear all the time, and I've used it just this week. And this is like almost 2.5 months ago. And that's the other thing. It was almost 2.5 months ago that this happened, and I'm hearing about it now.
So first of all, the relationships that you can make from this are good, but probably not the best person to work for in the future, right?
Yes, agreed.
Okay. That being said, let's pretend, for instance, that this isn't even a pretend. I mean, you're an independent contractor.
Yes.
For him. Okay. So essentially, this is your client. Okay, this is your customer. And if you were going to do excellent customer service or client services, and you said you paid us for a job and you weren't happy with the job, now we have a no refund policy. However, let's get creative. What else could you offer your customer other than a refund to help repair the relationship for a job that the customer wasn't happy with? What else could you offer?
I've been debating about this because, we had talked about, like, because again, in his scolding way, he told me moving forward in the future, I have to double check my gear. And it wasn't a gear issue, but I didn't fight back or argue with that. And I said, going forward, I said, we'll have a proper sound guy on set, my roommate, a sound recordist, a real person that's meant to do this. And I said, I'll stay in my lanes, which is more producing and camera department. What I could have said, and I didn't say, and I was debating on whether or not saying, like, since you're saying you wanted your money back for 2 days worth of work, I could give you 2 free days for the next project.
I think that would be very reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that if you offered that would be very reasonable. You weren't happy with the work. Let me give you a credit for 2 days. I'll work for 2 days for free for you. And hopefully we can, keep this relationship because it is valuable to me or something like, that would be what I would offer if I were having a customer that was not happy and I had a no refund policy or something, that I would say, you know what, I'll do it again for you for free. Or
it's just, it's been, it's 2 months later. It's like, if you came to me that like 3 days later and like, hey man, look, I'm not going to pay you because this didn't turn out, I wouldn't have had an issue, but they have been paid to moved on. And now it's like to come back 2 months later and be like, hey, you know what, I'm not happy with this, I want my money back. That's where it really was like, no, I don't want to give you your money back because you should have brought this up a long time ago.
Well, and he's not asking for his money back, but it seems like he wants you to offer.
Yeah, he wants me to offer it. He's brought it, the way he's implied it. It's very passive aggressive. The fact that I paid for this for 2 days and it sounds like this, I'm like, and it's a technical issue. It's internal pops, and it's nothing that I could have ever controlled. And like when we were listening to it on set, it was fine. Like everything being recorded on set was fine.
Here's the thing about these kinds of things where customers or clients unhappy and it's 2 months later. the details and the technical stuff, it doesn't even matter to the client anymore. It's just the
doesn't.
overall experience. He's unhappy. Now,
Yep.
whether it's reasonable for him to be unhappy or not, we can't control that. He's just unhappy. So can you offer a couple of options? Could you say, listen, I'll do this for you. I'll work for free a couple days, or I can do this for you, whatever those options are. At the end of the day, if he says, no, that will make me happy. No, I'm still angry. And you feel like, you know what? If I destroy this, if I burn this bridge, this could really lead to significant losses in the future. You might think about maybe giving the money back, because depending on how much that money is, you got to correlate that with how much you could potentially lose. So if the costs outweigh the benefit, you might think about that. But I would definitely offer to work for free. I would definitely offer something else first to see if that would suffice.
Agreed.
Okay, well, hopefully that helps. If you have any outcome of this and you want to come back on and talk about it, we'd love to have you back on. But otherwise, hopefully this was helpful.
It was very helpful. Thank you, Dr. Jeremy. Appreciate you.
You got it. Thanks, Shaun Paul. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Peacebuilding with Dr. Pollack show. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more workplace conflict advice. Share on social media if you think your friends and colleagues would benefit from this episode. And if you have a workplace conflict and want to be a caller on our show for free coaching and advice, please email podcast@pollackpeacebuilding.com. Thanks.